Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is BobLyn and welcome back to another video. This is a game in the Elbing and I had this, I think it must be a week ago, and we'll see that by my trophies in the end. I'm not at 100k in this, but still a very good game I had, and I wanted to share it nonetheless since I actually really love the Elbing. I think the Elbing is one of the best, what should we say, scouting cruisers in this game. Elbing is a DD classified in this, but to be honest, everybody knows this thing is a light cruiser. A light cruiser hunter, to be more specific. This thing is equipped with some nasty guns. Elbing gets 6 150mm guns, and they're in their configuration where you only have one turret in the front and then 2 in the aft. So if you've played the rune, then you know how this is. This is best played in a kiting situation. But since we are the only DD on this flank, I am going to try to get this cap. Now, there's also other DDs on the enemy team, so we can expect another destroyer in this cap with us. Luckily, Elbing with a full detection build is quite stealthy actually, and you outspot not all the DDs, but quite a lot of them. Now, when you are in a knife fight or in a cap contest with a DD, in Elbing I tend to smoke up preemptively, simply because in a gunfight, even with HE loaded at close range, the gun DPM on Elbing is not the fastest since you don't have the quickest reload, but a Kitakaze is, it's not the worst thing you could meet. Now, the very important factor here is holding your torpedoes. They are dreadfully slow, and I mean, they could be classified as mines, as we all know. So now he's committing to his turn, and that's when I send my torpedoes. I send all of them simply because I just want to make sure that this guy goes down. And he did, which is awesome. So now we can contest C or capture C, and we can move on. Elbing is really good in long range situations, and your main role is to hunt other light cruisers. But in this game we won't really be seeing many cruisers, we'll mostly be firing at battleships, and trust me, Elbing is just fine shooting at battleships. This thing pens pretty much everywhere, and if you hit bang on down into their superstructure, you're gonna do mostly full pen. Now, when they're broadside or angling like this, you want to be hitting, as you can see, their deck or their bow or stern. You can citadel a GK if you're lucky in the Elbing. Now, I run Maximilian von Spee, the legendary commander that came out with the line, and I mean, some people say you should put it on Set 52, but it's also very good on Elbing, and I don't really think Set 52 needs help, to be honest. Not that Elbing's bad. I actually think Elbing is one of the better ships at tier 10 meta right now, since you get these 3 smokes and you actually have guns that can pen. You are quite effective at, stopping any push. I mean, this Johan de Witt, he wasn't really pushing, but you can see how much damage we do to this guy consistently as we take him out. Elbing is really good at, deterring anybody from pushing in, especially if there's a Smolensk or Minotaur. You gotta shoot at those things. They blow up like a piñata when Elbing fires its big guns. I would say Elbing, for example, in Rule of the Waves, wouldn't really be that bad of a ship considering CVs are banned. And when there's a CV, a really good CV player in the game, this defensive fire 2 will not help you in the Elbing. This thing is just like the Harugumo, it suffers under Hakuryu fire, for example. The Hakuryu is this thing's worst nightmare if it's a good player in it. And every good Hakuryu player knows that you gotta go for Harugumos and Elbings because they're easy targets. Here I'm trying to take out this GK's guns. I know it's probably a long shot, but the Elbing's dead accurate, as you can see. That's something I forgot to mention. This thing is one of the most accurate ships in the game. I would say it's probably more accurate than the Stalingrad. And Stalingrad is known for having laser accurate shells. And as you can see, the damage on a Fletcher, now this guy was super low HP, so he was going to die either way. We only did 178 with the AP at close range. Now, keep in mind, I have APCS Plus on this thing, so I'm going to pen even more, but you gotta swap to HE at those ranges if you want to have a chance in a DD fight. If the enemy DD you're fighting is sailing away from you and is, not parallel with you, then you should probably shoot AP, because the shell will penetrate along their hull and actually do full damage instead of overpenning. So there's quite a lot of thought process that goes into the shell types you use with Elbing, especially in the early stages. Now, once the DDs are out of the game, you can just stick to AP. There's no reason to use HE on a BB or a CV or anything of that matter. You wanna stick to that armor piercing. And you can see we've already done 78,000 damage, 3 kills, and we're just racking up the stacks. I mean, Elbing, like I said, is super consistent, and that's why I really like this ship. I know there's also quite a few Elbing players out there. I know Alistair on NA is probably the best Elbing player on this server. In this game. I haven't played against him in my own Elbing, but I have played against him in Austin, and that's not a fair fight because Austin is the DD devastator, pretty much. But Elbing in a long-range fight versus Austin, I definitely think Elbing wins, because hitting a DD at max range with your Austin on rapid reload is actually very difficult. So the name of the game here with Elbing is using your range. As you can see, we reach past 10 kilometers, which is nice in a DD. I'm pretty sure it's only Khabarovsk and maybe Kleber can do this, but you guys can correct me in the comments. It's not a lot of DDs that have these ranges. But you gotta remember these are also cruiser guns. These are 150mm guns. So we're coming up on the end of the game here, and I'm trying to, torpedo this gearing, but realistically, trying to torpedo a DD at long range in this thing it's kind of like, entering in the lottery. You don't know if you actually are ever gonna hit this guy. So I'm just gonna keep spamming the GK, and that's why I also sent torpedoes in his direction, since you never know, in 5 minutes he might be going forward, and there you go. Because 5 minutes, that's pretty much the time it takes for these damn torpedoes to hit anything. But I don't know, man. I actually really like Elbing torpedoes. I think they are somewhat magical, man. For some reason, even though they're so slow, they tend to hit stuff you never intended on hitting. I've gotten many random DDs in Epicenter by just spamming my torpedoes down the middle. And 2 minutes later, you get a kill. But yeah, that is pretty much the end of the game. 112k damage, 3 kills in the Elbing. That's a pretty good score, I would say. Full player even, no bots. Granted, it was probably the the Kitakaze who gave us a lot of that damage in the beginning. Here you can see the scoreboard. It's pretty boring stuff, but I'm going to show you my build here on the Elbing. You can also go watch my Cruisers of Blitz episode, of course, with an accompanying montage. Like I said, we have von Spee on here, and we run Torpedo Alert Plus, Preheating Plus. I would probably take Artillery Maintenance if you didn't have it. The Sixth Sense. Now, this is the situation where I take Daredevil Plus, because Elbing turns very slow, and Daredevil actually helps. Exploit Weakness, that's for floods mostly. Then we take Mistweaver Plus, that's very nice to have. Demolition Expert, Honor Seeker, and APCF Plus, like I said, also very nice, and Giant Hunter. Maximilian works great on both Elbing and Z52. Then we have Reload, Steering, and Detection. Now, this is my build, guys. Disclaimer, this is my build. You don't have to copy it. It's not the best build, but this is the one I like playing with. So I just wanted to put that out there with all my builds. Anyways, my name is BobLyn. Thank you for watching. I'm signing out.